video, marami pakita.
So, the mechanics of the game is first dividing the class into 4 groups. Each group will receive one printed page, which is this one. One printed main Okay, very good. So, based in our activity na specific, finish na yung inyong upload. Based sa kanyang mga minerals, land, water, air, and minerals. Also, may our topic for today. Anyone, ang topic today? Do you have an idea? Okay, Charlotte, very good. Our topic for today is resources of the earth. But before that, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Marian White Pampasyon, and this is before we start our topic, I'm going to talk about our objectives. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to define renewable and non-renewable resources and give Philippine example of each. Differentiate among the 6 main resources of the earth: land, minerals, fossil, water, air, and nature resources. Explain the importance of conserving natural resources and consequences of overusing them. Identify human activities that contribute to the land, water, and air pollution. Analyze sustainable practices such as irrigation, crop rotation, recycling, aquaculture, and hydroponics, and as a solution to resource scarcity, and appreciate the role of science and technology in developing alternative resources for the future, like example of solar energy, desalination, and synthetic food. So first, the resources of the earth. The resources of the earth is the natural resources, useful materials found in the earth. So the earth is a giant storehouse of materials. Resources of the earth or natural resources needed ra ang land because kay naamong nga part diri ang Rocky Mountain, desert, or ice. So when you say Rocky Mountain, dili siya kaya mountain. When you say desert sand, kay lack of water resources. When you say snow sand, this is the doon sa kabunaw. Mo nang dili lang siya for sure na so now my question. If too much land is used for cities, there may not be enough to farm? Yes. Why, man? Why? Okay. Go. So, land is needed for cities, industries, farming, and raising animals, so its use must be carefully balanced. So, balance ra gyud ang paggamit sa land. Dili kay magpataka gali asa ka dito siya. Kuha na dili kay ka magpataka sa unang kay daghan man gud nag-need sa land. So, hamulan na dun sa people. Like in this one, money on land, farmland. So, raising animals also require a lot of farmland as they need a large amount of grain for feed, like this one in Australia farming. Kuwali siya, mga baka ni siya. Like, money ang baka ako ang kalan nila gamit sa baka ni sila guys. Baka ni siya. Baka ni siya. So, land is now unusable, may be capable of growing food through such method of irrigation. So, ang katong unusable na land, like mga desert, kay mahimo na siyang usable tungod sa health sa irrigation. Irrigation is the watering of dry region. Fertilizers can also be used to make land unusable for farming. Desert may someday be covered then into usable farmland through the use of large irrigation. When you say large irrigation, watering of dry region, like bubuan ganit. So, like in this picture. So, money ang land irrigation. Like, para madali gali kung tubo ang talon. So, mahal ang fertilizer niya. Need a machine for tubo. So, ano siya? Ang desert, kaya karon, kaya nana sila hindi buhat na nalilipid. Ang desert, diba, sand siya, hindi siya mga tubuhan. So, to the help of irrigation, nakatubo sila talon. In Saudi Arabia. So, this one. Nag-form sila ng world circle sa sand to magkahimo sila o land pollution. These discarded materials are called litters. Litters the main cause of land pollution. People produce litter nearly 3.6 kilograms of waste are thrown away by each person each day. Much of it thrown away without regard to the environment. Naglabay ka o 3.6 kilograms each day of sagot, plastic, bottles, Land pollution may change the environment so that living organisms may not be able to survive in certain areas. Kung ako rin padayon na ato ang ginampuhan ng kakaglabay, namang may mga living organisms na mamamatay doon sa kaming pagkakas. So, mami ang the main cause of that. Like this. The name, dangerous chemical from industries, pesticides, and radioactive waste also called land pollution. Ang mga pesticides nila also cause the land pollution. Pesticides are chemicals used to kill insects and pests. So, DDT. So, sa mga DDT? Ako na nabigyan sa one pesticide, DDT, enters the remains in soil. Tapos, ano yung DDT? Usan siya ka pesticide enters the remains in soil, plants, and other living things for many years. Insects eat crops, spray with DDT, and absorb to help them survive. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Why? And the earth crust contains many useful minerals. For example, the iron is used to make steel. Copper is used for electric wire. Minerals also provide aluminum, cement, and plaster. Minerals are found in a rock that must be mined. The kanang mga minerals makita siya sa mga rock na kinatunon. So a rock deposit is called an ore. If its minerals can be extracted at a bed or are found globally and contain two types of materials, the metal and non-metal. Ore deposits are formed in a variety of ways. Some deposits are formed when minerals dissolved in water are sealed in cracks in rocks below Earth's surface. These shapes are called veins. Copper, lead, and gold are some minerals found in veins. Nga naman kuno ang mga ore deposits kaya makita sa veins. Kaya through the help of hydrothermal vein deposit. From hot water, deep superheated water dissolves mineral like gold or silver from surrounding the rock. Okay, the mineral rich fluid flows up into rocks in cooler rocks. So, katong mga na-dissolve na mga gold o silver, matuto sila sa mga crack na mga bato. Sasok sila dito. Ato sila sa cooler rock formation. So next is as the fluid cools, the minerals crystallize and fill the cracks forming and ore veins. So mao na ang gold sa vein. Some ores are formed in igneous rock. Igneous rock are rock that are formed from cool and hardened magma or hot liquid rock, nickel, and chromium. For example, it is found in ores from igneous rock. Kasagaran sa ores rock, kaya nasa mga igneous rock doon sa like this one. Kasi pyrite, kaya niyang mahimong guys, T. Chalcopyrite, kaya mahimong niyang copper. Chromite, mahimong niyang chromium. Cinnabar, mahimong niyang mercury. Ang clay, mahimong bricks. Corundum, abrasive. Ang galena, mali. Garnet, kay gemstones, plaster, ang limestone, diamond, magnetite, cement, ang magnetite kay iron, pentlandite kay nickel, pitch, lead, or uranium, salt kay food, sphalerite kay zinc, sulfur kay sulfur. So when ore are found, depends on how they were formed. Some are deep under the ground, while others are close to the surface, like this one. Muna ang nasa ilaw makita ang ore or nasa babaw sa surface. Or near the surface can be mined by digging large open hole called strip mine. Like strip mines such as copper mine are often used to mine ore found near the earth's surface. Like this one. Open pipe mining in Mindanao. Mining from strip mines dito. There is a Carmen, mining Lahab. And for Toledo, Atlas mine. Carmen. Sa Atlas, so strip mining removes a lot of soil and has damaged farmland. It also causes too much water runoff, leading to soil erosion. Materials like slate and marbles are later from also formed. The waste rock or banggoy and other substances must be removed from the ore so that only the pure metal is left. Like for example in this picture, rock. Muna rock. So kanang tungod sa kanang sumituhan siya maaari. Next. Ako explain later. Some metallic ores are compound ores that the metal in these ores are combined with other substances such as sulfur or oxygen. For example, the iron is often found as iron oxide in ore. Iron oxide is iron chemically combined with oxygen. These ores are crushed and chemically treated after smelting pure metal usually remains. Like sa katong same sa kanina. Mali. Crushing a chemical like iron oxide siya. From tungod sa smelting, a high heat and carbon reduction. So, ang katong nakabilin na metal na gikan ano, kaya maingani siya, melt siya tungod sa smelting. So, ang after ani, kay makita na nimo ang pure metal, cast iron, and removes. So, mao na ni ang mag-form ng mga metal dali. So, from bato, ani siya, dili siya bato. Mixing two metal creates an alloy which is stronger than the original metal. If two metals gani kanang isabol, kay mas stronger siya kaysa sa individual. For example, the copper and tin make bronze which is harder and thicker metal than gold. So like this one, the copper and the tin, yun siya bronze. Minerals in the earth crust stock millions of years ago and are limited supply. If mining continues as at the current rate, these minerals may run out. It is important things that to conserve them. One way to conserve minerals is through recycling. Recycling is used materials over and over again. Many metals can be recycled, gold, for instance, can be. So ang minerals dahil karon kay nagkagamay na siya. So, ang mga tao, nagita ng iyang mga itong mga metals na hindi na magamit. Ilan ito i-recycle na create a new product. Like this picture. So, one is, yung old product, i-recycle nila, hindi mo na siya, new product. So, mining. The mining industry provides gold, ores, and building materials needed to make any product. Gold is used to produce chemical, plastics, medicines, and things, while ores are refined into materials like steel and aluminum. So, ang gold ay, like in this picture, kaya mahimo ng mga ores, kaya dito, mahimo siya ang mga materials, mga steel and aluminum. Yung gold, mahimo siya ang kasi. From coal mining, to coal processing, to coal tar refining, chemical product to medicine. So mining, ang career on earth mining, called as mine inspector. So may teach safety and first aid miners. So ang mine inspector will teach sa mga miners sa safety, first aid sa mga miners sa to become an inspector, a person needs mining experience, usually a supervisor or manager, and must pass a special exam for federal jobs. Kung dili ka mining inspector, dili ka mapapas sa exam. So, dapat mapas ka sa exam, hindi ka muna ka mining inspector. So, mine inspector works with all mines, metal mines, or mines. They may be employed by mining company or by the government. Dili sila pwede nga humina ang kalit. Dili sila pwede nga, magaw ako dali kay dili man illegal man na. So, para maligal sila, mag-house sila, subukan sila sa companies or the government. Mine inspector check mines to ensure health and safety rules are followed. They test air quality, and mine structure, and right reports on mine. So, my issue, nag-base ako sa Philippines, nag-focus sa Philippines na nag-game. So, mining in the Philippines is deeply cultural. The 1996 Mark Cooper spilled in Marinduque. I have a video here. What is happening in Marinduque? Pero Perdila na mundo na kay taas. So health concern is supposed to be so short to toxic gas and substances cause respiratory issues, skin disease, and symptoms of mercury poisoning ng mga resident in Maynila. So most of nila hitabo sa Marinduque katong ni explode man ang katong mining pa na tuod sa OMP na sa mga people na sa namatay. So frequent typhoons and heavy rainfall worsen risk of landslide and haze. So in social, economic, and human rights issues and the situation, siltation and pollution destroy the livelihood of farmers and fish food, cause food insecurity and affected the community. So, paano ko na siya sa mountains? So, mari siya sa lower part, the lower land. So, makakuha na siya, makakause na siya kanang sa gabi. So, money siya ang mga legal and illegal about mining na. So, ganun the heritage. Hindi siya, hindi kay without valid permit, valid permit, katong inina, na kanay mga tao, dapat mo, once sila, imong gusto sa mga indigenous people, din sila mular bumukuhan, nabi yung mga people sa nilin sa area. Muna ang legal and illegal about mining. So, money place, naay mga sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Atlas, okay? So let's go to the
So again, good day everyone. So let me discuss to you some of the resources in here which is very essential to our daily lives. And one of that is the fossil resource. So does anyone here have any idea about fossil resources? Anyone? Go ahead, say that. Alright. So oil is one of the fossil resources that I'm going to discuss later. Kung saan din siya ang fossil resource? So fossil resources are natural energy sources formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals that lived billions of years ago. Over a long time, wind and pressure in earth transformed these remains into coal, oil, or petroleum, and natural gas. So kasi siyang fossil resources can only be found deep underground, meaning na siya sa ilalim sa yuta, and can only be obtained by extracting the resources deep underground using mga heavy machineries. So kasi siya, asan siya gikan? So fossil resource, as I said earlier, is that it came from the ancient plants and animals na decompose or nalubong deep underground due to deep compaction or pressure and heat, nahimong siyang mga resources which is kato siyang coal, oil, and natural gas. So we have here examples of fossil resources. So number one, that is coal. Kindly read everyone.
Black solid rock formed from ancient plants that were buried and compressed for millions of years.
So as you can see here in the picture, this is the coal. I know you've been wondering inside like sa coal o charcoal. No?
Coal is a natural resource, while charcoal is non-renewable resources.
So specifically, ang kailan yung coal is naturally occurring while the charcoal is man-made ground. So kani siya coal ay isa siya ka sedimentary rocks nagikan sa mga patay nga kahoy plants or plant remains nga lubog deep underground. Now due to deep pressure, compact siya, nahimong siyang coal. Kani siya. Number two is oil, petroleum. A heat liquid fossil fuel formed from the tiny sea organism that became under pressure. So we all know the uselessness of oil. No? So kani siya, makita din nato siya o makuha deep underground sa sea, sa dagat or sa ocean. Kaya naman, guys, ang kaning oil or petroleum is, these are the tiny sea organism na decay deep underground or sa sea surface and lubog. That's why kabatay mo na mga oil rig. So wala siya ang gamit mo sa mga so wala siya building bitaw ng extract of oil deep underground sa ocean. Kanang bitaw mo na sa masila. Kaya sa kaning petroleum is naman siya sa ilalong sa dagat yun, kaya mapatay nga sea organism siya. Tiny sea organism na nasa ilalong sa dagat. Number three is the natural gas. Can you read everyone?
Natural gas is a non-renewable fossil fuel formed over millions of years from the remains of ancient marine plants and animals subjected to intense heat and pressure.
So natural gas no, so ano yung ipanggamit na ito dahil lang sa pagluto, sa panasiya. So mostly it's contained of the mga inom ay natural gas is that mga maintain which is highly flammable, gamit na ito sa pagluto o pagluto. As you can see here, we have here a map na abundance siya sa coal. Kaling yellow is lignite, ang green is bituminous, and anthracite is the blue. As you can see here, kaling lignite is very common siya na coal na batik siya quality, while the bituminous is moderate siya na nindot, while ang kaling anthracite is kanang grabe siya ka-rare nga coal na siya quality. The United States uses large amount of world's fossil fuels, but oil and gas supplies are limited and may run out in the future. Coal is more abundant, but oil and gas are harder to replace. Scientists are searching for new sources like drilling under the ocean extracting fuel from shale and coal, but these methods are costly. To avoid shortage, people need to conserve fossil fuels and develop alternative energy. As we all know that these kind of resources are mostly non-renewable. So that's why some scientists are still exploring sa ocean, especially oil and gamit non-renewable siya, direct siya mawala. So that's why conservation is the most powerful sa lima o paper. So since we are done with the fossil fuels, let me discuss to you the water resources. So water resources are sources of water that people can use for drinking, farming, industry, and supporting life. This includes water found in surface of the earth, underground, and even in the atmosphere. So water sources are the bodies of water, specifically the oceans, lakes, rivers, or anything that consists of water that can support life. As you can see here in the picture, these are all the distributions of water around the earth. So 97 point, so we have here 100% of water here in Earth, so it is divided into different areas. And 97.5 is that is the ocean water, which is likely unusable, but although it's unusable, it is the home of diverse marine life. And 2.5% of that is the fresh water category. So what is that? Ocean. And the 2.5% of that is the fresh water na atong panggamit karon. And that 2.5% is manibay na siya into different areas. And 79% of that is the ice caps and the glaciers. So mga ice cap na makuha kita sa bahay. And the 20% of that is the groundwater, and 1% of that is only accessible surface water. And that 1% accessible surface water is divided up siya sa laking areas, and 52% of that is the lakes, 38% of that is the water in soil, and the other is water rivers, living condition, and water vapor. So these are the examples of water resources. So we have here the rivers or streams or the running water. When we say running water, flowing, yes. Lakes and ponds, the stand water, rainfall, oceans and seas, ground water. What's that? Ground water, no? Can you watch it, Tabay? Can you watch it, mga man-made water sources? Kan siya? Kan siya? Tawag ka niya, reservoirs. Reservoir. So, kung saan siya ka-man-made nga lake? Sa uban padam, hindi ang tawag. Mga itong ipanukuha ang tubig sa grito, ang ipag-inom, so nakakamulat ang tubig ng ipaggamit. Then yung wells, as we all know, that wells are the water deep underground. No?
Yes.
Paano siya, kaya hinuha na siya, sabi niya? Bricks. Kung ano yung mga paggamit sa mga ancient times no, para maka-access sila sa tubig deep underground.
Yes.
Water pollution. Water pollution, is the contamination of water bodies and the impact on their usage. It is usually a result of human activities. As we all know that mostly human activities is isa sa mga big factor why water is very polluted. Like for example, mga buildings, kita naman buildings, buildings deep underground. Dito sa nagtas dagat, patay ang buwan.
Alam mo dapat dagat ba?
Yes.
Na
Mga basura nila is dito sa nagtas sa dagat, which can contaminate the water, resulting kung hindi natin magamit ng tubig. So since we have water is comes here, but there are processes na purificate ang sa tubig. So we have here the contaminated So we have here the contaminated water, ma-intake ko siya dire, while ma-intake siya, masold siya dire, natin natawag na turbulence, so saan siya chemical na makapakuan nito sa mga sediments, matapok siya, anak. Tapos, while circulate siya dire, maabot siya dire sedimentation, where ang atong mga small sediments is substantious below, ano siya, kita sa picture, substantious below, sa supos, where filtration, kung filtrate niya ang gagmay na sediments para hindi may kaabot dire sa sedimentation, where mga bacteria is vacuum dire, where sabon sa pang-chemical air to matay ng bacteria. After that is ma-store na siyang tubig which is magamit na ito. So the fifth resources of here is the air as resource. So unsa may air resource? So air resource are the different gases in the atmosphere that living things and the industries use for survival, energy, and daily life. So air resources is one of the essentials that mostly living organisms is used for living. Including that is oxygen, which is used for breathing. But there are other usage of air, which is I'm going to discuss later. So we have here the examples of air resources. The oxygen, which is our used to breathe. The ozone layer, which is so this ozone layer itong atmosphere nyo nga nasa protecting us from the carbon rays from the sun. The wind, so ano makita tayo turbine, wind turbine and then but ang pagkakanan niya ang padagan is ang wind, which is naka-generate ang wind turbine into electricity, carbon dioxide, lastly carbon dioxide. So air pollution is the contamination of the atmosphere by chemicals, particles or biological agents that modify its natural state and are harmful to human health and environment. Again, human activities is one of the factors of polluting not just water, land, also the air. As you can see here in the picture, such a power plant, electricity power plant, na makuha siya energy deep underground, but nakuha siya disadvantage. Kaya ang yung pagkuha of resources deep underground is magawa ko siya, contaminate ko siya sa air. So these are all the pollutant emissions na hindi sphere. We have here the natural lightning, which can produce fire and wildlife. Ang asulya, abot din and also the volcano, which is natural, which is ang bukod ang vulkan. Ito yung ash, ang aso ko niya, abot din sa atmosphere. While in cities, you all know that cities, grabe siya kapag magagana siya mga factories, vehicles, which is the carbon monoxide. And then so, kaniman siya, may mga sakinan ng pag-produce of carbon monoxide contaminate sa ato atmosphere. So air pollution control, the Federal Clean Air Act, the Environmental Protection Agency, the authority to control air pollution. The agency sets limits for amount of pollutants that can be released in the air. So, US no, kaya nasa tayo Federal Clean Air Clean Air Act 20. Ang kanang mga example, mga power plant is nagana na ng 30 na dapat nasa na yung mga karapitang limit ng pag-produce, makakapas na kaso kay maka-contaminate na siya sa kuwang atmosphere. I don't know sa Philippines ba, wala mo siya din. But sa Bisao Buwan kay Philippines no kay sa panahon ni Marcos natay power plant sa una, but pero wala siya gamit. Gamit ko na itong power plant kay makapareduce nila kasi gamit sa electricity. Ang may naggamit sa
So let's go to the new resources. New resources, the Earth rapidly increasing population, like what I said earlier, is facing great demand of existing natural resources. So scientists are experimenting with a new method of obtaining these resources. They are also searching for new areas that contain these new resources. So first is the new resources of food. So half of the world population doesn't get enough food. As the population grows, more food will be needed. So scientists have created high-yield crops, also with new seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides to help farmers grow more food in less space. Other method used by scientists to grow food is hydroponics. So ang kanilang ang world ay karon kay nag-increase ang population, pero some people ay wala na nakaon. Kaya gamay ra kayo ang food na imo. So ang mga scientists kay nag-create o galing para makakaon ang tanan na tao ba nag-create sila o kanang dali ra nga grow ang mga food, which is the hydroponics. Next. Hydroponics garden can be grown in areas that do not have soil or climate sustainable for growing crops. So, like for example, in this, ang soda ng tubo ay which is nice having a fertilizer. So, ang tungod ana ay makatubo dali-dali ang tanong ng wali paggamit ng soil na naa sa sud sa greenhouse. Mao na siya na sila. Mao na ilang ibuhat na pagkaw na dali ang tubo. So, here in the Philippines, 24-year-old turns DIY greenhouse into thriving hydroponic farm inspired by the Youth Avid Partnership in Pampanga, Philippines. So, kaning natawhana kay i-create siya inato bali hydroponic na pagtanaw nga di siya magamit ng soil kay sa tubo ra magdagay na para tubig no na kay sa fertilizer. So, mo na siya. So, many crops such as rice and wheat have been developed into high-yield crops enable farmers to produce more food with less farming. So, scientists are creating synthetic organic farming. So, sa una, di ba, mga tao man, gamay ra siya o food na manimo, against the mga so, the use of high-yield fields with machines to gamit, daghan na siya dali siya ma-harvest at dadaghan sa siya o. So, scientists create synthetic food by combining different substances to mimic natural food. Soybeans, which are high in protein, are used in meat products and make synthetic meats. Other synthetic food came from cotton seeds, sunflower, coconut, and millet. Like for example, this one. Kanang ikauli ng mga burger, kaya synthetic food siya. Daghan galing sa veggies, tomatoes, lettuce, corn. Anong pork? Hindi na siya. A beef, dahil hindi na siya matulid at na later na mobile hindi na beef. So, next one. So, organic waste to biomass product. Mga siya single-cell protein. Protein food to make burger. farms such as this one in Japan are one form of aquaculture in fish farm, which fish are raised in the pens in areas of the ocean for food supplies without resulting the overfishing of the ocean. So namaya ang mga overfishing kaya no kaya wala nagbubuo ang isda, hindi wala makaon. So ang Japan dili na sila kailangan himo sila og mga farm sa mga isda ang makaon. Kung pwede na makaon, sakto na din siya sa isda, dagko na sa gusto na couch, para hindi siya hindi siya makurong, bilisan siya mag-overfishing sa So, this one. Sa fish nila, kailan isolve ka ng fins. Yan yung pakanon. Yan ang muscles, kaya kanang naan sila yung kanang pising na may dato gatin kaya kung ting harvest lang, dato na sa kailan na bitalo yung uyog naman sa pising na dato. So, another food from the ocean that may be used for irrigation is krill. Krill is a tiny shrimp-like creatures that is already being used as a food. So, when you say krill, kanang ibo, kanang Ang also sad, ang krill like kanang primary food for a large marine animals like natong mga whale, So this is also a great abundance of algae, seaweed, and microscopic animals that plant life in the ocean. These may be used for food in the future. In Korea, Japan, China, magkakaroon ng bulda o seaweed. Lockdown meat refers to the meat developed from animal cell culture and non-bought via traditional raising and slaughter of living animals is not a direct imitation of meat made with other ingredients like plant-based burgers that are made from plant-based protein. Sa lahat ng ganyan din ang dilid siya kanang your video. Napay video. sources of minerals. So, sa ocean na po sila nakita po minerals. So, ocean water contains many dissolved minerals, including magnesium, bromine, sodium, sulfur, potassium, and iodine. So, while most magnesium and bromine are unique, so are currently sourced from the ocean and shunting other minerals costly, making large-scale extraction large challenges. Like in this picture. So, ang land, dili siya dili siya mahal kung mag-land ka, mag-mining ka na sa land. Pero mas mahal man ang ocean doon kay nagkaroon siyang machine na gamiton. So, mamamahal ang direct ang machine, depends ang ipigan ng need nga i-process, ang pressure sa ocean, like, correct. Mas mahal ang ocean. The ocean floor is also source of minerals such as manganese. Manganese is found in Najo. On the ocean floor. And Najo is a small block of minerals, small amount of other minerals such as copper, zinc, lead, and silver. Silver are also found in Najo along the ocean floor. So, mga mga Najo, kanagay bato-bato, magagulay sa ocean floor. Babaw sa sediment. Mga siya, mga Najo. So, kung kukunin mo Najo, money sulod sa Najo. Manganese nodules contain so-called rare earth minerals, which have commercial and military application. Anong military? So, they are used in disk drives, fluorescent lamp, and rechargeable materials, among other things. So, mas gamit siya ang fluorescent light, batteries, mga gamit ng light. So, now with video. Nasa? Video. Kuhaan. Mali kanang usang pag-mining sa ocean. Hindi na nakapagdoon. Kanang pagkikatanan kayo. So, ingana sila. So, need siya.
Mga mahal na equipments.
Okay. Dili mo good kaya luyano nga makaadto sa ilaw. Oxygen kaysa compare sa land. Sa ocean na po sila ng mga minerals, hindi na sa land, kaya ang langit, kung puro naman po na ito sa sila sa ocean. Ano siya? So let's going to stop. The next topic is the new resources of water.
So again, we discussed the new resources of fresh water. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, one. So we have here the new sources of fresh water. Finally, everyone.
A large supply of fresh water may be made available for desalination of ocean water. Desalination is a process in which salt is removed from water. Some cities in the United States, such as Key West, Florida, and Greenport, Texas, have already built desalination plants. Over 200 desalination plants worldwide supply more than 20 million liters of fresh water daily for drinking, irrigation, and industrial use.
Okay, so parang makikipagpapit. Pero isa ko na-discuss. The first one is desalination. So as we all know that desalination is the process of removing salt and other materials from the water. So as you can see here in the picture, one is the ocean, this is electric salt. Ako siyempre, mag-filter na niya. And then, moving out of the range, is niya, desalinate, thanks to the energy ng pahit na niya. So also, itong salt niya is removed, balik here in the water, in the ocean. And then, after that, itong mga na-desalinate na ocean water is here. Mayroon siyang fresh water which is safely
Safe to drink.
drink na. So as you can see here, one siya ay factory of desalination, no? Hanapin ko siya sa plant sa dagat. But, ikan siya sa Kuwait. Ano sa Pilipinas, sinaba. Problema na. So desalination is a very expensive process. Preservation is still the best way to ensure fresh water supplies for the future. So kaya desalination guys, grabe ka expensive na process because kaya mga machines yung panggamit nila is bilisan ng gitna niya. No? Kaya mga dagko mga machines ng siya. Mga siya, nag-allocate siya ako mga budget gikan sa government para ma-proceed yung project.
Maraming sa kapitan sa Pilipinas yan. Conservation
Conservation is the best way. So we have here the new sources of energy. Fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gases are running low, while large ocean deposits have gone. They are eventually run out, so developing alternative energy sources is important for the future. Solar energy is one possible energy source for the future is solar energy. Solar energy is energy obtained in the sun. It is almost unlimited and non-polluting. Solar rating of solar buildings can reduce the amount of fossil fuels used. So as we all know that fossil fuels is one way of converting these resources into electricity that is very essential to our daily lives. So now, karon na mga new resources na ating paggamit thanks to the scientists kung na sila mga other alternative na pag-use sa itong resources. One that is the solar panel wherein ang itong mga ingin sa solar as well as sun is converted into electricity.
expensive to yan.
Yes, solar panel is expensive depende siya kada po. Yes, says yes to our item also. But kasi uban nga kada mga gamit na dito na magamit nga solar panels is recycled sa siya. So simply gamit. So large solar collectors located in the roofs of buildings convert the sun's energy into heat, warm the building and heat water. So see here, what is yan balay na ice solar panel which convert ang sun, emits the sun into electricity. And one of that is the solar collectors. So, kani siya, as you can see, eman siya kanang dako matirmos sa balay bitaw. Okay, manik. So, saan siya kakuhaan na para ka makontrol niya ang temperature sa usang balay. So, we have the solar panel no. So, mahagi na tayo ang sun. So, where the sun, mahagi na tayo tapos, while that from that, convert siya electricity. Here we have here, dako ang sa upan. Natin ang mahit, natin need ma-trap by those, for example of that, kasi siya ay makapa-hot and cold isa sa temperature sa water. Patay mo na mga salida, na mga shower bitaw, na pwede niya ma-heat, ma-hot and cold. Kasulay, kasulay na. So, makita ang siya usually sa mga likod ng lugar ng pagpatahan ng malay. Another way of using solar energy is through photovoltaic. So, kaya photovoltaic is self-transforming lights. Basically, mura siya sa solar panel wherein solar energy is converted into energy. Photovoltaic. Solar energy has disadvantages. It requires a large area and many funds connect enough energy for major use. Additionally, it is only effective in certain locations. So, you all know that solar energy, yes, have advantages, but it has also disadvantages. And number one of that is
High installation costs.
So, as sa gamitin naman natin solar panel with a group kayo, may malay ka. Natin yung mga sa tawag mo.
Solar di battery.
Ako yung
Di battery. Di yan may mga.
So, parehas kami grabe ka mahal na to at the same time, installation na niya is grabe ka mahal. Number two is road limitations. So, na may uban balay no nga, yung mga kumpase or mas balay, and also capacity sa group is gamay kayo. Aesthetic impact, paano sa you like with architectural or visual design. So, makabati ko siya sa
Architectural design sa iyong
sa balay.
balay.
Bakit ako na sa so lang tawag yung bakit check-out, because hindi ko balay, bakit design challenges, limited design of options, creative waste and toxicity. So, ano sa mga panel is, yes, gusto ko siya i-design ko pinagi ang toxic. Kasi yung mga toxicity nga issues, land footprints, latitude, strains, treatment expense, low conversion rate, low payback time, complex situation. So, ano siya mga disadvantages ng solar panels? Kasi sa new sources of energy. In the future, the global electricity will be a dynamic mix with renewable leading the charge to overall capacity. But nuclear power plant, particularly through advanced modular reactors, SMRs, will be the strategic cornerstone for ensuring grid stability, energy security, and powering the most demanding technologies like AI installation. As you can see here, these are the plants ng produce new sources of energy. And siya is power plant, siya sa energy in the earth, electricity, as well as this. Types of new sources of energy, which is natural gas. As what I said earlier, methane, butane, which is used for for cooking, which really it can also use as electricity generation, battery storage as renewable energy sources like solar and wind become more prevalent. Battery storage systems are becoming increasingly crucial. So, ano siya, may battery yung so as you can see here, dapat siyang battery. Kung inyong cellphone na may battery, of course, ang kada siyang mga sources like energy is dapat siya mga battery para ma-store ang mga energy niya for future uses. So the last one of the new types of energy is the hydroelectric. Hydroelectric power is a renewable energy sources that generates electricity from moving water, mostly commonly used as dams to control flow of water through turbines. So as you can see here, sumali siya ang dam. So naan siya yung nag-aanan without the flow of water. And with that, open the gamit siya mga turbines, mga generate of water because of the electricity. Sorry. Electricity because of the flowing water yung panagan siya turbine. Especially kapag wala sa falls o material falls na naipan nito, tawag niya hydraulic electric dam. So we have here the second to last, which is the nuclear fusion. So nuclear fusion is the process of combining two small atomic nuclei to release the maximum amount of energy, which is the power of source of such activity. So we have here the nuclear fusion. As you can see here, small particles. So small particles inside the atoms. Small particles inside the atom. So there can siya mga small particles inside the atom. And with that, we compress na siya. Patuloy siyang i-compress like tissue. Gara, nuclear fusion. We have here all of smaller particles inside the atom. So fuse na siya. With that, maka-accumulate siya or makahiwa siya bigger atom. So kung ma-fuse din siya, itong mga atom na na-fuse is maka-produce siya large amount of energy which can be used in our daily lives and future science experiments. And we have here the nuclear fusion where there is breaking fission and fission. So we have here a nuclear fusion breaking unstable nucleus is mabuhat without siya forming two nuclei, like nuclei ito. So ang pinailan ato ang pinailan sa nuclear fusion is about fuse siya combine while the fusion is spread. So these are the possible benefits sa new sources of energy. So among that siya sa fuel, thorium can be extracted from seawater and tritium can be produced from widely available lithium. Meaning fuel supplies could last for millions of years. So pwede siya na last million years for this abundance of fuel. Energy, clean energy process includes no carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases. Minimal waste fusion reactors are not expected to produce high-level, long-lived radioactive waste like fusion reactors do. Safety. The process is physically safe as any function causes the plasma to fall and reaction to stop instantly. There is no risk of runaway chain reaction. So these are possible benefits of the new source of energy. So we have here the last catalyst of the new sources of energy, which is the geothermal energy. So geothermal energy is the heat extracted from the Earth's crust. As you can see here, this is the power plant wherein atong energy or heat underground is converted into electricity. This is what I said earlier. Siya ito, nuclear power plant. Power plants are typically built in areas with high temperature resources, operating on a near tectonic plate batteries such as Alawang Pacific Ring of Fire. Kaya siya power plant is makita siya typically sa itong mga lugar na high temperature. Kaya namin itong mga abundance of heat temperature. Especially itong mga batteries sa Pacific Ring of Fire. So what is yung geothermal energy that we also use directly? Involves using naturally occurring hot water from springs or reservoirs near the surface for various purposes, including heating the buildings, industrial processes, and agriculture. So there's aquaculture. Sorry. Aquaculture there, rather. So what is yung geothermal energy can also be used directly in the ano siya? Heat siya. Hot spring. Evaporation. Hot spring siya na magamit po sa uban, especially sa mga buildings, industrial processes, na So how does geothermal energy is used? Geothermal heat pumps, GSPS, district systems use stable water temperature shallow ground to provide highly efficient heating and cooling for individual homes and buildings. They transfer heat to the ground into a building in winter to extract heat from the building back to the ground in summer. So you can see here, nationalized tinatawag or technology which is specifically geothermal heat pumps. So now siya sa usahay. Butak talang ano siya GSP. Bakit na pala yung buwan? Nagatay ka ng control sa temperature bitaw. So kani siya, usually natin siya sa mga lugar na init ay bunta ay kabutan. Kanang bugna bitaw to keep their home warm, especially kung wala ng winter is mga 100 gano'n siya sa
Okay. In conclusion, Earth resources are vital, but then to predict they protect our planet and ensure future needs, we must use these resources responsibly and support sustainable practices. Thank you. Now we're going to have a Napalagay ko.
Okay, para next. Sige ka na.
Oh, sila, so? Bro, bro.